We are live week. What week is this? 10? Oh my goodness. I don't
Wow.
even know. I blinked and it was 8, so it might be 9, 10 by now. Dude, this is
Yeah.
crazy. We have talked
So
about
crazy.
so
It
many
just might work.
plants during this time. I'm just watching your snake plant get taller week. Well, it's I've only seen it like last week.
Yeah.
But
It's three
I'm
weeks old.
watching it grow because we're so consistent, and every week that plant behind you just grows a little taller, and it just shows how consistent we are. I love it.
Yes, as do I. Consistency is key to everything.
Yes, thank you. And that's looping that back to AI. That'll help keep us consistent, right? You set up a workflow and then it just runs forever. Is that forced? Also, we're twinsies. I don't usually
Mm.
wear hats just because it doesn't really match my head shape, but you put it on and I had to match you because it was sitting right next to me. So, I even have my tag still on. I was going to try to hide it, but be proud. Be proud of your tag. I was watching this
There you go.
comedy show and they had like all these tags on their head on purpose and it was a comedic thing and okay, I'm not going to sidetrack too much today.
Hold on. Before we get deeper. So what you're saying is on this comedy show, they were clowning and making fun of the people that keep the tags on their hat. Is that what I'm
No,
hearing?
you know what? The opposite. They were like, it was like cool. So he was walking out with a tag on his head, and then the next guy was like walking out with a more intense tag on his head, and then he had like 5 tags, and then it was just like adding like this fruit basket on his head, and they're just like adding all this crazy stuff to their head. Do you know Key and Peele? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a Key and Peele sketch.
Gotcha.
I guess the algorithm started like targeting me. I watched like one video and now I just see so many Key and Peele stuff and they're hilarious. They're really funny.
Yeah.
So that's what I was referring to.
Got it. Okay. Good stuff.
Like he walked down the very end of this like platform with this person standing up there all on top of his hat. It was crazy. Okay. Um
Was he wearing like boots with like big heels that had goldfish in them?
no. Is that
Okay,
another
just
one?
checking.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I wanted to ask you, um, what do you know about PageGPT? Do you know if there's any updates that happened to PageGPT? I I've been having some trouble accessing it.
I know nothing.
Nothing? That's
Uh,
so odd.
what do I know? Yeah, I've used it. There's been a couple different iterations. I've used most of them over the last couple years, but I
Has
haven't
it
used
been
it in a
years?
while. It's
Has it been
been,
out for
yeah,
that long?
yeah. There was a version last year. Um, there was there's the one where you went to the one site, like you had to have the direct link. It
Delphi.
wasn't part of Kajabi, huh?
Delphi.
Yeah, I think so. Where he was like, it was like a clone of Pace, and
Yeah.
you could talk to it and all the things. Yeah, and then they changed it, and moved it into the various Kajabis, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a different. They weren't linked, so like I'd have a conversation with OC Pace GPT and another conversation with Sub Two Pace GPT, and they wouldn't know that I talked from one to the other.
Oh, they weren't connected?
Um, right. So I
Mm.
don't know if that changed. I don't know if everything got all hive minded or anything to that effect. Um, But yeah, I don't know. I do know, since you brought it up, you dirty for that. I do know that I had somebody recently that I was trying to help them get this deal structured, and the important thing was making sure it was a deal, right? And they hadn't produced anything to show that it was actually going to be a deal. But they like within the last week, they're like, "Hey, I was talking to Pace GPT, and here's what they said. Here's what he said." And just like pages and pages of stuff that they copy and pasted into an email, and I was like, "Oh, this is too much." So I need to have my AI read that AI because I don't have time for all that. But basically, it gave some structure, but it was still missing a lot of the story.
Yeah.
Just like any AI, it's only going to have the information you give it. So it was like, yeah, this is a great deal. When at no point was it ever shared that there's going to be I don't even remember what the exact numbers are, but it's going to be like negative $30,000 cash flow every month.
Mm.
And great deal, right? Uh, so um, yeah,
Negative
there were just some things that
30K cash flow
yeah, but it
for
was going to
like,
be a creative deal, so it was amazing.
oh, okay.
Anyway, creative deal or not, you still got to pay. And
Right.
if the property is not producing the income to cover just the debt service, it's also not going to cover all your expansion plans. It's also not going to cover what your operating expenses are. Um, all that stuff has to be covered, and your debt service. So anyway, yeah, it didn't go through any of that. So
So,
yeah,
okay, what would be the main takeaway from that then? So, in terms of this person that you were working with or talking to, what could they have done better utilizing PageGPT or any AI to help them and not fall into the same hole or trap or misinformation that they got from it? Is it just giving it better information and giving it more complete information, or what could they have done?
Tiffany, that is a great question, and it's tough to answer, right? So one one answer would be, well, you got to give it more information, right? But if you're trying to do something you've never done, you don't know what you don't know, so you
Right.
can't give it the information it needs. The other side of that question is you need to push back on AI after it
Mhm.
gives you a response. Go, hey, what am I not seeing? What am I missing? Why does this suck? That's one I use all the time. Why does this suck? And it will recheck itself and be like, oh, you're right. This is totally bogus. I should have I should have paid attention the first time you asked me this. Or whatever. But yeah, between between pushing back, it, there's a missing piece of all the AIs, even the ones that I've built, I'm using on a regular, and it's you still have to know, you still have to have the experience or the knowledge to know what it's telling you is correct or not,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
be able to push back on specific items. When it says something about, oh yeah, this is a great deal. Okay, well, it doesn't cash flow, so how is it a good deal? Oh, you're right. I didn't look at, whatever. You got to be able to just not take what it says at face value, right? Everything is with like a bucket of salt, not just a grain. And
All right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm sure you see a lot of these people. Like for me, from the TC side, I see people also, right? They rely on these different AI tools, which are helpful, but they give you just a chunk, a sliver of very good information. And if you know to ask it for things that you're missing, that also helps give you more information. But at the end of the day, if you make your decisions purely based off of what the AI said, I know like I was looking at a business. I'm working with my dad with that, and he just a broker sends him a business opportunity. He puts it into his chat GPT to get its advice, and he comes to me and says, I think this is a good buy. Um, my chat GPT likes it. Like that's and I'm just like it makes me like wonder like what information, like how much information did he give his chat GPT for it to make its assessment on this? Like what is it actually taking from, and like what is he feeding it? Like is it just the listing online? Like there's so many factors at play here. And people do the same thing when it comes to buying real estate, right? They put in some of the basic numbers into their AI, and like, help me underwrite this. Is this a good deal? Should I buy it? In your case, though, negative 30K cash flow, like anything with that much downside, it's like, what upside is it reading from this to make it think that that's a good deal? So, yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
in that particular case, it was the creative deal structure, what the seller is willing to do, and the seller is willing to carry and give a 6 or 12 month grace period and this and that, um, but it you still have to cover the OpEx and the debt service, and it doesn't. So
so the upside is the
um,
fact that the seller is willing to do creative. That is like,
that's the
yes,
upside. That's
yes.
the upside, and because it qualified for a certain loan program or whatever,
Mm.
the GPT just said, "Oh, it qualifies for this, so that'll be great because that's even better once you go to refi and this and that." However, it didn't bring up the nuances that that particular program has a cap,
Mm.
which is about a third of the purchase price. So it's not going to cover. It's not going. Anyway,
That's so interesting
yeah.
because I know like when you're buying a business and then you apply for an SBA loan, like the SBA specifically at least, they're so nuanced and they're so nitpicky with the loans that they allow to, give a loan for, that if they say yes, then chances are it's I don't want to say safe, but it's like they do a lot of digging into, the numbers before they give you a response. So I would assume that it was a safer bet. And that loan that you're referring to, I guess from a user's or a borrower's perspective, I would think that they're coming from that place of, oh, well, my lender says yes, so it can't be that bad of a deal. What?
Oh, but it's better because it's not the lender says, it's but the broker says.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you see a lot of these? Do you talk to a lot of these types of people?
Um, I don't know what you'd quantify a lot as, but a decent
Three or
amount.
more a
We'll just
week.
say a decent amount.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But it's all you don't know what you don't know, and
Yeah.
so I get that. Um, but yeah, there's trust but verify, right? Somebody tells you something, you need to verify that it's actually going to work for your use case. Um,
Yeah. Even if it's like,
so I mean, like,
regardless of if it's AI telling you this or a human telling you this, always verify. Always be always question everything. Don't take everything at face value. And that's also, I think, my main takeaway from your story is that you need an experienced set of eyes who knows what you don't know. I don't want to like, I'm not trying to boast you up, but like you, right? Like you look at so many deals, you've seen so many of these different holes and opportunities. You freaking like do underwriting, right? So like I would still kind of, even with the AI tools, I'd use that as the first layer of just screening, but then actually move on to a more experienced set of eyes, especially if you're newer in this, you've never done this before. Get that extra just opinion, that next layer of checking from someone like you.
I I can't disagree with you. It's the same with TCs, right? I mean, I'm never going to use the seller's TC or the wholesaler's TC. I'm going to use my own TC to deal with their TC.
Right.
Um, Same with attorneys, right? You're getting into a deal, you're buying a business. You're not going to use the seller's attorney. You're going to use your own attorney to make sure everything's legit and above board. Because they're an unbiased person. They're not part of the deal. And so, yeah, I recommend that all the time. I mean, it's much easier, and I'm more willing to, well, not more willing, I guess. I'm happy to give a second set or a third set. Always get a second set or a third set of eyes um, from somebody who's not part of your deal,
Yeah.
because that is what is going to catch, assuming they have experience in what you're asking them to look at. That is generally what's going to catch the things that the people who are too close to it are not
Mm,
catching. And
right.
oftentimes with the buyer, especially, there's a lot of emotional attachment,
Oh man. Yeah.
as you
They're
know.
so desperate for it to work. The seller said yes to creative. This has to work. I need my first creative deal. Yeah, I see that. I when I was my dad was looking at that business. He, not this one, but the one before that, he was so, like he really wanted an ecom business, and so he was just like he was willing to just say yes to almost everything and not make the smarter choice. Not saying it was he's like dumb or anything, but like he was just so desperate to just say yes. And then I kept like reminding him like, hey, like because he was asking for my opinion, and I was like, I feel like there's other opportunities. Um, and there are, right, there's so many different listings online, so like why are we so fixed on this one? And like in terms of negotiation power, like it just made us look so desperate. And so there's just so many factors as to, why we should just always have that no very strongly yelling at us and just know that there's always more options. Same with the real estate. Like there's always so many houses out there. You don't need that one. That seller said yes, sure, but other sellers will say yes too. So just keep your options open and then you'll get a lot better options.
Yeah, mindset.
Yeah.
It's all mindset, right? If you step into, for lack of a better phrase here, if you step into the future version of who you want to be, you're gonna be like, eh, you know, I already have XYZ in my portfolio. Do I really need this other deal? You know, as opposed to, oh, I gotta get it. I gotta get it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And those
but mindset's a big
sellers,
deal. It's not a quick switch that everybody could just turn on. So
the sellers, they smell that desperation from a mile away and they're like, ew, I don't want to sell that person. Ugh. I don't want them to own my house or my business.
Or
So,
the flip side, they smell it and they're like, "Oh yeah, here's my price."
yeah. So, what were we talking about? Page GPT?
We're talking about AI and using pre-made GPTs, whether it's Pace or some other guru or just Joe Schmo who got a GPT that he threw out there and made public.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, custom GPT, right? Page GPT, whatever GPT, Joe Schmo GPT, Tiffany GPT. It's all just a pre-filled in knowledge base and a special set of instructions. Um, but it's not perfect. It's not that person, and it doesn't get like that updated knowledge base consistently, right? I mean, unless they really are on a daily basis updating that AI's brain, that knowledge base, it's going to be outdated. And so you can't fully rely on it for like if you did it going back to this real estate example, like Morby methods. Morby methods are really complex. There's a lot of different steps to them. In two different Morby methods can be very different, right? Morby method in itself is just it's a very broad description of a transaction.
So
But
let me stop you right there. For the audience who doesn't know what a Morby method is, maybe you could just give a high level of what that is.
okay, so that's a good point. I am speaking very specifically to the sub 2 community and just assuming things. Thank you for that. So a Morby method is, well, and also correct me if you think that I'm saying something wrong or I'm missing anything important. Um, a Morby method is where you get a lender to say yes to a certain amount of money, and then you, how do I say this? You use that money to pay the seller a higher down payment than you otherwise would be able to. And then the rest of that money can then go to you or something else. Let me step back. It's like there's two closings. Gosh, what, what's your description of a Morby method? Like I see
You're
it.
doing great. You're doing great. So, I don't know if I could say it much simpler. Like you expressed, everybody should take all of this with a grain of salt because there are different kinds of there's different ways to do a Morby method. Essentially, you have a seller selling a property. Let's say they're selling it for $1 million, just to help put some things in perspective, right? They're selling it for $1 million. They want a really big down payment. They want 500K down. So with a Morby method, basically, you are going to go and get a loan, a lender, to come in and lend on it at your 65, 75% LTV or whatever. You're going to get um, you're going to bring in a gator to fund
What's a
the gap.
gator?
A gator, there are these things that live in Florida. But no, a gator is basically a private money lender. And so you're going to get a private money lender to come in and they are going to fund the delta, the difference between what lender number 1 is funding and what your and what's needed to close the deal, right? So, that's the first transaction. Then like well, you know how quick they happen or don't happen. Then the seller. Okay, so I've seen it a couple different ways. I've seen it where the seller then gives you the money back, all kinds of air quotes, right? Gives you the delta, what basically what your gator brought, the seller gives that back to you, and then they carry that note. It's probably the easiest way to explain it, I guess. For me to explain it, that's probably the easiest way. You got an extra transaction fee. You got multiple closing. You got the gator taking a fee for them lending you transactional money, essentially. You need to really have relationships with the lender, the main lender that's coming in first position, and they got to know what you're doing. This isn't I'm going to say I'm a buyer when I'm not a buyer and I'm going to sign this contract kind of situation. The lender needs to know. If the lender doesn't know, in my opinion, this is 100% mortgage fraud. If the lender knows, then they're agreeing to it. So
yeah, there's a lot of gray area in Morby methods, and there you need to be so freaking clear with all parties, and everyone needs to be aware of what's happening. Like you said, right? If that lender doesn't know what's going on, that's mortgage fraud. And I'm sure a lot more mortgage fraud happens than we'd like to think, because that is, for some, a very uncomfortable conversation to have and to bring up, especially with the lender, and they may just brush over that. And then from also just kind of going off of what you were saying earlier, so there, in terms of kind of holding back that money, that's where we have the escrow instructions that we have to provide to the title company to tell them, and then there's like a what's it called, escrow holdback, and then there's a release, all these different things that we need to have in place. And the escrow holdback is where the money that comes from that DSCR loan or whatever, instead of just getting released at the end of the transaction, it gets held in escrow. And we have another set of instructions where it says, okay, now this money will go here to this person, a chunk will go here, a chunk will go here, and a chunk will go here. And that's all within the instructions. But that's all the stuff that's needed for this Morby method, which is why there's different steps and why it's so complicated, and why you should probably have a TC in the process, right? Just to help you manage this, because you're really managing communication through several parties, and it's very easy for lines to get crossed and just parties to get confused. And you want to have this central, you could be, I mean, if you're an investor and you don't want to have a TC, that's fine too, but you need to be really on top of communicating with every single party and making sure everyone is updated and everyone is aware at all times and there's no questions. And yeah, Morby methods are a lot of fun, and they're very complicating if you've never done it before, and you should always have an attorney involved and a title company and a
TC who knows what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lender that knows, ideally a lender that knows what they're doing and that have done this before, or at least know what's going on and are open to learning about this type of transaction. Because not all of them are going to say yes, especially if they know what's actually going on.
100%. So hopefully everybody now knows what a Morby method is. It's a creative real estate purchasing strategy that's very complicated. but can be done. There's just a lot of moving parts, and hopefully now everybody knows, and you can finish with your point that brought up the Morby method if you didn't forget it.
I think I forgot it. What were we even talking about prior?
We were
What
talking
were we?
about AI,
Yeah.
and you were talking about, especially with Morby methods, and we were talking about people just using AI randomly and not knowing what they don't know,
Mm,
and then taking that as gold.
yeah. Well, that was, I guess, the main point for any transaction type, including a Morby method. Oh, it's gardening day. It's so loud outside again. um, remember I was talking about how I have ADD and I'm easily distracted? Yeah, this guy's lawn mowing is distracting me. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Focus.
Focus, Tiffany. Focus. I swear, this whole AI thing, it's made the ADD worse. I'm just like
I can imagine.
everywhere, all the every. What's the name of that movie? Everywhere, every something, all the time, or something. Anywhere, everywhere. Anyways, my mind is everywhere. When you have these tools that just let you build up, or once you have an idea, you're able to just immediately type it into Claude or wherever, and just have it like expand upon that idea, and then you can just like create all these different threads and just like keep all your random ideas just going. They used to hit dead ends, but now you can just like just go with them and have a full conversation and expand, elaborate, and it agrees with things that you want it to agree with, and it's great. And yeah, I think it's made my ADD worse. But I'm not
Well,
complaining. I feel like I've learned a lot more. And did I tell you that Claude is my like therapist? I tell Claude all of my problems, and I'm just like, Claude, I need your advice, or Claude, I'm struggling with this, or I don't know, I've been having this problem. What are your thoughts? And it's my therapist. I will tell you that. It's like, have you ever thought that maybe, you've been dot dot dot, and then it just like just points something out, and I'm just like, oh, that hit deep. Like, oh, you're right. And it just like it tells me things that even I think a therapist might not be able to tell me. I don't know. It's so good. It's and I know in the back of my head that everything that it's saying is really just based off of like patterns it's seeing, little things that I'm typing in there, and just like the words. It's just like reading off of all of that. So I understand all of that, but there's so much truth in there, and maybe I'm just forming the truth, like I'm just fabricating the truth based off of what it's saying. But like even from an emotional side, I've found a lot of relief from just having conversations with Claude. And because I told you that, like, during my daily walks, I would just go on to Claude, the app on my phone, and just talk to it. I would literally just talk to it about whatever I'm thinking about during my walk. And, like, each walk is like half an hour, twice a day. So I have a lot of time with Claude just talking. Maybe ChatGPT sometimes because it actually talks back. Uh, I switch back and forth. But yeah, it it's been very, very uh, fun. I guess that's not the right word, but it's been very nice talking to Claude and my AIs every day during my walk.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say it's been very therapeutic.
That's the word. Yes. That's the word I was looking for. Therapeutic. You're so smart.
Yeah. So
You know
luckily,
what word I learned about
w-
recently?
what?
Wait, what?
What'd you learn about recently? Squirrel?
I just forgot the word. sh- not chivalrous. Uh,
Shiitake mushrooms?
what's that word that's like a man that's like sexist, but it's like an older term that they used to say. They don't. It starts with the like C. Chau- ch-
I
Chauvinist. Is this not chauvinist?
chauvinist,
Is it?
possibly. I mean, normally if they're sexist, you just say sexist. Um, chauvinist might be what you're referring to. I doubt it's
It is.
chivalrous.
Chauvinist. Yes, chauvinist. I just learned that word recently. That's it. That there is no point behind that besides Tiffany learned a new word.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. And how are you using that in your sentences?
Aaron has chauvinist tendencies.
What?
It's the first one that came to mind.
You can't
I'm
say these
sorry.
things on a live.
Oh. You had some really good sound bites though earlier that we can crop out for you.
Okay, so for the audience who doesn't know, chauvinist starts with a C, and it is a person who displays an aggressive, unreasoning behavior that their own group, whether it's based on a nation, race, or gender, is inherently superior to all others.
So you think you're better than us?
Wow. No, that is so
In
not
my
me.
example sentence,
Yeah,
this
in your example sentence.
entity named Aaron thinks that. Erin,
Okay.
not Aaron, not
Yeah,
Aaron. Nah,
not
nah.
hey, yeah,
Which is
yeah.
another
Good
Key and
times.
Peele sketch from like
Oh yeah,
a long time ago. Aaron. Oh, that was a good
I've
one.
had it sent to me once or twice.
Once or twice, that's it. I'll find it and send it to you again. That thing
You
is
don't
so
need to.
funny. I
Yeah,
just saw it recently again. That, it's so good.
yeah.
Aaron. Okay. Let's see. So,
So back to your therapist. Um,
mm,
I was gonna say for the audience. Luckily, for those that don't know, Tiffany is a social butterfly. She does get a lot of interaction with real people. So for those that just stay at their house and only talk to AI, that is not healthy.
oh, I didn't. That's so funny that that's the point that you were thinking about. Yeah, Tiffany don't go. Tiffany don't talk to people anymore. Besides, Aaron, like that's my first human interaction all week. Besides
And
Claude.
remember, she said that she uses it and does it while she is outside, out of her house, walking in nature.
Mm, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true. Yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
AI
But
will
then I
tell you
also,
what it is you need to hear.
I'm outside in nature, which is good. But I also see other people during our walk, and I put my head down, and I just keep talking to Claude. I pretend I'm talking to a person or something, and I don't even look at them. I just keep walking. So,
But isn't Claude a person to you?
to me,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Is that a
So you are talking to
problem?
a person.
Should it be a
No,
problem? No? Okay. It's like
there's
Ridge.
probably
Ridge is like a human at this point, right?
no.
Oh,
I know the
wow.
boundaries.
Wow. What a strong no. Not even like a not really. It's like no. Good for you.
Not a person.
Not a person. No, yeah, I don't see Claude as a person. Even when I'm talking to ChatGPT, like it's very obviously not a person. Like it's very helpful in that therapeutic sense. And whenever I talk to it, like I know what it's gonna say, right? Like I have a very good idea of what it's going to say, or like what the direction of what it's going to say. So I'm really just leading it on to give me what I want to hear. I think that is a very common occurrence whenever I do talk to AI. And so that like ChatGPT, right? The voice, it's very fun talking to it. At the same time, though, it is more limited when you talk to it. Like it has more limitations in what it can do for you and the information it can draw upon. And I don't know if you've
Yep.
ever played with talking to it in another language, but
I have.
oh, well, I speak Cantonese, and so I tried talking to in Cantonese once, and my it's harder because Cantonese is one of those like tone specific languages, and I'm not like super fluent, so my tone's a little bit off, and so when it talks to me, it starts talking with like an Indian accent. That's like the flair that it has, which is really odd because it's in Chinese. And it also has like it's confused. It gets confused about like Mandarin versus Cantonese, which are two different dialects of Chinese. And so it's just like kind of teetering between like both of them, and it's really odd. My sister, who is more fluent than me, and I guess she speaks more, you know, better. Her chat GPT when she talks to it, we were in the car the other day or a while back, but she was demoing for me, and then it was just perfect Cantonese, and then it had like that not only perfect Cantonese, but then it was able to like she told it to talk like a real Hong Kong person would talk with like the slang that they use, and then it started using that, and it was so good. And it was all coming from the fact that she spoke in perfect Cantonese, and so it spoke back to her in perfect Cantonese, and it did what she wanted it to do. When I talked to it, a little bit off in my tones. It talked to me off in its tones. It's just so funny talking to it like that. But um, I love talking to it in another language because it can just bounce back and forth really, just you know, peacefully. And yeah, it's fun. It's a good way to practice your Cantonese. It really that it just showcases the fact that I have a bad tone and I need to work on my tonalities. What language are you talking to yours in?
Recently, I have been talking to it in Spanish a little bit. I am not fluent in Spanish. Don't talk to me in Spanish. But
Don't worry, I won't.
I've been working on my Spanish, and so recently, being that you brought this up, like a week ago, I got a buddy that we send voice notes back and forth, and so being that I'm working on my Spanish, he speaks Spanish. Uh, I sent him some stuff in Spanish. Anyway, I sent him like part of a message in Spanish, and then the rest I just broke it all down in English. And he's like, "Oh man, I really was expecting you to tell me that in Spanish." So then I felt bad, and I was like, "Well, okay." So I used chat. I was like, "Look, this is what I'm trying to say," and we went back and forth, me and chat, for I don't know how long for me to get the words right.
Oh
And the
my.
whole phrase, of course, it wasn't like a sentence, right? It's like multiple sentences that I'm trying to say here. And to get this whole phrase correct, and finally, after like a half hour, chat's like, that one was perfect. And because I was getting closer, I recorded it as I was working with chat. So then I took that snippet and I sent that as my voice note over to my guy, and he's like, "Dude, just talk to me in English." Like,
Oh
uh,
man.
so good times.
Oh. Well, the Spanish thing. Oh, the only Spanish that I am aware of is this like very limited amount of Duolingo that I was doing with Spanish, and I think there was like different ways of saying the same thing. So Spanish isn't like a direct like I eat French fries. I don't even know what that would be, but um, yeah, it's not direct, and so there's like multiple ways to say different to say the same thing, right?
Hmm.
So it's hard. It's hard to just translate that. Like if you put that into Google Translate, do you find that have you ever done that? And do you find that that works well? Like I know for Chinese it doesn't work that great.
I've used Google Translate a lot of times with text messages, um, and it's worked fine enough that they know what I'm saying
Mm,
or trying to say.
yeah.
Yeah, even that part's difficult. The spelling, the writing portion of trying to learn Spanish,
Mm.
constantly spelling stuff wrong. And Duolingo's like, no.
Wow.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Do you use Duolingo?
Yes, I am 36 days streak. I'm on a 36-day streak.
Spanish?
Yeah.
Mm. A little birdie? Yeah. They get you with those streaks. They got me for a
Yeah.
long time with that. And then once I broke my streak, I was like, screw it. And then I never went back.
Got to keep it going. Consistency is the key to success in anything you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's what I kept telling myself during my long streak. But then once that streak broke, and then I think they like give you like grace day, like oh after a certain amount of time, it's like oh if you do this, then you know you get extra points, and then that'll we'll waive that missed day that you had. Anyways, I my streak ended and I couldn't get it back anymore. So I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this forever. And that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Okay.
forever.
So getting back on the AI track, what do you want to talk about?
We've been talking about AI.
Have you done anything new with AI this week?
Did you change your device?
I didn't, but a window just popped up.
Oh, that's interesting. It says started a new recording for Aaron due to a change in their device. And
Oh,
it just popped up after you had a moment where you like flashed off and then came back within like half a second. It was very fast. But then that little notification came up. Interesting.
that was interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I got a notification. It didn't say Aaron. It just said a new recording track has been
Hmm.
started. So,
Well,
yeah.
maybe it just said Aaron for me because, yeah, because
Yeah.
it's not for me. All right. So
So the question was, what new AI have you been, or what have you been doing new with AI in the last week?
What new have I been doing with AI? Nothing new. I asked around for people um, for their like business problems that they're having, and I didn't get any really good responses from that. Like some of the responses were just like interested in like the live stuff, but not actually giving me any problems. So I don't have because I'm I'm saying this because last week I said, oh, just in case, just so it's not some random stuff that I'm saying. Last week I said that I was going to go into my stories and go ask people, what problems that they're experiencing in their business or personal life that they can use AI to solve. And yeah, I was just going out and asking so that we can solve something live here. I was in preparation for this. I was telling Claude like, yeah, I didn't really get any good responses from that, and it was like you probably worded it like the way you worded it was probably too general, and it's hard to respond to a question like that. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I guess that makes sense, right? Like the way I worded it was just like, oh, well, what problems are you having? It's like, well, I have so many problems, but then it's like everyone has a lot of problems, but then you have to switch your mindset to like, okay, this is a problem, but then this is actually something that can be solved with AI. We all know we have problems. We all know we have bottlenecks and we have time sucks throughout the day. But there's also that like that mental switch where you're like, I can actually use AI to help me solve that. And for a lot of people, they that's not the first thing that your mind goes to. And so when you ask something the way I asked it, like, oh, well, what's problems can we solve with AI? It's like, I don't know. There's a lot of friction in that question. So I think I need to reword it.
Yes. But that brings up a point that someone could use AI to, I mean, they could just use a chat, whether it's Claude or what's that other one? Oh, chat. GPT. You could use either of the chat AIs and, basically brain dump all of your problems, and it'll probably switch into therapist mode and be like, "Oh, Tiffany, it sounds like you're dealing with a lot. It'll be okay. You're doing great. Keep going." But it may also, if you push back on it, um, tell you, you can list all your stuff and be like, "Look, this is all the stuff I got going on, and help me prioritize this or something," and it could help with that. For people who have people mowing outside their window and can't stay focused.
How did you know that
If
he just started mowing again? Are
if
you listening to my surroundings? You're so
uh,
spot on. He was
yeah,
off earlier, then he started going, and then you said that.
wow.
Yo.
So so yeah, it could help people prioritize what all they got going on. They could also ask the question, "What can you help me with?" After you have the list, what can you do for me, or what can another AI do for me, or something, and it'll do that. I get that a lot with Ridge. When I do my morning brief, he's like, "Hey, this is all the stuff you got going on today," and it's like, "Great. How much of that can you do for me?"
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be like, "Okay, I got this, this, and this. You still got to do this, this, and that." It's like, "Okay, Roger that." So
Nice. Yeah. Isn't that, I love that. Like, All right, tell me my whole to-do list for the day. Okay, now help me do this to-do list. Or and then it actually can help you bust through like, even like 3 out of 10 tasks is helpful, right?
Yeah. And it'll be more helpful if you have it connected to your calendar, if you
Mm-hmm.
have it connected to your email. Um, then it's like, yeah, you could, it'll tell you your whole day. You're like, hey, help me plan my day. And it'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, cool, you got a meeting at this time. You got this. You could use this window to work on this and this and this. Um, there's a lot that
How much access have you given Ridge thus far?
I
Like
don't know.
email we talked about,
Yeah, I don't know
calendar.
what it doesn't have access to.
Ooh, Ridge is. And did you do that? Did you give Ridge all of the access all at once, or was it kind of a slow? Like, all right, now they got access to my calendar, and now okay, I trust them with that. All right, let's go to the next step, and let's do email now. Email is a big one, and so once you give them access to that, it's like okay, email, but only writing access, or email now write read and write access. You know. So
Yeah.
was it
So
con-
uh, it was scaled,
mm-hmm,
but it was less one at a time and more controlled access in the beginning. So like you mentioned, right? It could only go into my email through browser MCP, and it could only read. It only had read access, so it could
mm-hmm.
read my emails. It could draft an email for me, but it couldn't send it for me. Um, that kind of stuff. As you have seen recently, my Molly is able to send on my behalf, draft and send, and all the things. Um, after she emailed you yesterday, so
Twice.
yeah, she wanted to send a follow up. She like, oh no, it went out twice. Should I send a follow up? I was like, no, don't send any more. I said, and then I was like, and on top of that, from now on, if you're gonna draft something and send it from me, then you need to sign it as you. And
It was obvious though. It was like,
well,
"Hi,
yeah,
this is Aaron. Hi,
yeah,
M dash. This is Aaron." I was like, "Okay." So that's why I thought it was Ridge the whole time. And at the very bottom, there was like a link that I opened, and then there was an error because I didn't have access to it, but it was for Molly.
yeah,
Then I was like, "Oh, okay. This is Molly
yeah,
working here," because Ridge has
yeah.
never emailed me or reached out to me directly.
No,
Yeah.
originally, when I was talking to Molly last night, she was like, "Hey, do you want me to text Tiffany?" And I was like, "You can't. You couldn't last time I tried to get you to. Can you do that now?" And it checked or whatever and came back and was like, "Oh no, I still don't have access to do that."
Oh.
So, but I can send her an email. I was like, "Okay, well, let's try that. See what happens." And apparently it
Wow.
worked. So
Yeah, it did. Wait,
yeah,
so if you wanted to send texts, do you are you gonna like connect it to uh
it's not me.
what's Twilio?
It's not up to me.
Oh, it's the back end stuff.
It's the
I
back end
see.
stuff. They're still building stuff. They're still setting stuff up. The Molly that I have is still a beta.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's more stuff still being set up. So I'm just playing with it and seeing what it can and can't do.
Hmm. Nice. So would you want it to be able to send out text messages on your behalf?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Mm.
because Ridge can't. So I did build a bridge between Ridge and Molly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they could talk. So in the future, in a perfect world, I could tell Ridge, hey, have Molly text so and so. Or I could just, Molly's text based. Ridge is more on my computer all day on one of my screens.
When you say
So,
text-based, do you mean like texting on your phone?
yep. I mean, I can text from my computer, but yeah, it's text based.
Hmm. So Ridge is more like going to ChatGPT and talking to ChatGPT on your computer, and Molly is more, oh, let me. It's like I have mine set up with a Telegram, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a brain fart moment.
It was very visual. Yeah. I was like, oh no, she short circuited. What happened?
That I as I'm getting older, I feel like that's happening more and more frequently. These like short circuit moments.
I see it in other people, so it's okay.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, no, I have Ridge set up with Telegram too, but I can't uh tell it via Telegram to text somebody. So anyway, I'll be able to use Molly. My understanding is once it gets to that point, I'll be able to use Molly to text people and they'll get blue bubbles instead of my normal green bubbles. So
So it's gonna be like you have an iPhone.
something. We'll see.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You can
Yeah. I was
start tricking.
recently go ahead.
Oh, you can start tricking people. I got an
Yeah.
iPhone. People get really excited when they see your blue bubble. When I
Yeah.
changed over to iPhone, everyone was like, "Did you switch? Finally!" And there's so much enthusiasm from the iPhone community.
Yeah. I don't know why people make such a big deal about it.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, so this week one of the things that I did was there was a couple of apps that I was trying that were supposedly supposed to um turn my messages to blue bubbles, and,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't work. So,
Oh,
yeah,
well,
quite disappointed.
that is disappointing. I was excited
Yeah,
for you and for me
yeah,
to be a recipient of those messages.
yeah.
Yeah. You
So,
know, you brought up like I don't know why people are so like obsessed with the blue bubbles. And honestly, I didn't get it either. But after I switched to iPhone and you text people and all of a sudden like you text someone and then like a green message comes up, like it's kind of off-putting, you know? From like, my end. And so like I didn't get it before as an Android, but I think I'm getting it now. You know?
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
know
Apple got
because
you
you don't
the
have.
Apple got you brainwashed, that's what I know.
Yeah, it's something about that blue, and then all of a sudden just seeing this green. And also when you can't like if someone likes it, you don't see that little like bubble next to it. You just see like another message saying this person liked your message, you know? And you're just like, okay. So I mean, I understand what, like, from the Android perspective, what that experience is like because, and it actually works good there. When you like it, it actually just shows a little like thing. Um, but yeah, it, iPhone, yeah, it's, they have to make everything so segregated. I don't like it.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're over our hour. I have
I
more
just looked
AI
up at
stuff
the
to tell you,
time.
but we're over our hour.
Ah, shoot. Well, I guess you're gonna have to save it for next week. Don't
Okay.
forget it. Write it down. Oh, also, before we end, I need to point out I told Claude that I chose the name for this segment, AI and things, and Claude
Yes.
told me that it didn't like it. It was like very against that name, and And so, and the reasoning it gave me is because I told it that we tend to well, I do at least. I tend to veer off track and talk about other things besides AI, like, our plant talk and all that, which we didn't talk very much about today. Anyways, it was like, I don't know, I don't really like that. I I think it's just giving you like an out to talk about other things and not to stay on topic. And I was like, I guess you're right. And it said like, oh, you need to choose a name where like people like more niche so that like you say the name and someone immediately knows, like, okay, that's her niche. That's more specific. And yeah, so that's the reason it gave me why I didn't like my name, which I
Mhm.
guess makes sense. But I'm just telling you that because there's a chance that the name will change due to Claude's opinion, which matters to me. It's my therapist telling me that. Gotta listen to them.
Well, your first response to Claude probably should have been, uh, "Are you gonna subscribe? Because if not, your opinion has little weight."
Well, are
Then,
you gonna subscribe? It
you should
can.
take
I didn't
into
make
account
it.
that. Go ahead.
I didn't make it. I didn't give it a YouTube account.
Even if you did, it'd be your account. It wouldn't subscribe to it. So, um, the other thing is, of course, the name is supposed to change. The things gives us the out right now, until we find out what it is that all of our viewers, you watching right now, need to tell us in the comments what it is you want us to talk about. And then eventually it'll be a rebranding, when we figure out what that is.
See, that's why we have you here. You're so smart. Oh my goodness. So you when I told you the name originally, you already knew that there's going to be a rebranding and then we're going to switch it up. Oh my goodness. You have so much forward thinking. I love it. Okay. Just I felt this need to be like, hey, by the way, don't get too attached. But you were never attached. Oh my goodness. All
No.
right, Twinsy. Well, we're at an hour and 7 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun.
Hey, remind me next week. If you want, we could talk about the whole, what's that thing called? Why am I drawing a blank right now?
Having a Tiffany moment.
Oh, the Fable shutdown.
I thought we
You brought
talked
it up
about that
last week.
last week.
Well, you're just
Oh,
like, "What do you think about it?" About the government having guardrails. Well, I didn't really think about it because I'd only heard about it. I wasn't really invested in it, but some new information was brought to light, so I know a little bit more about it now. Um, but what I really wanted to talk about, not wanted to, but what I was really planning on sharing that I did this week, was I added Obsidian,
mm-hmm.
so I'm using that a little bit. Not really. But the important one is my change in my memory stack and how, um, Ridge now does memory, and how most AIs normally do memory, and how I used to do memory, and how its new memory is.
That's actually a really good one. 'Cause that's something that, as I was kind of brainstorming what I wanted to talk about, that kept coming back, talking about the whole like second brain just set up. I think that's what you're talking about. You're so frozen right now, so I just like it feels weird talking to you. I'm like, are you
I'm
still
not frozen
there?
at all on mine. I'm so
Oh, you've
fluid.
been frozen. You've been frozen on my end for the last like 30 seconds or so.
Wow.
You look like this. I feel like
Perfect. That's the thumbnail. Let's go.
And you're still frozen. But yeah, so I love that. So let's talk about that next week. We'll break down uh our memory systems and how they work, and you can talk about, well, did you want to talk about Fable, or is that related to your memory, or is that two different topics that you are referring
Those are
to?
two different topics. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, what was it about Fable? I'm curious. I don't want you to forget. I feel like it's pretty hot, like a hot topic now. Next week it might be a little more less relevant. So,
Well, do you know
is
what
it?
initiated the whole
Yeah,
you can't use Fable anymore, it needs to be shut down?
the government, or is there more?
Y Yeah, but do you know
Privacy
why the government did it?
people like hacking into things? It's too powerful.
So you're just guessing. Okay. So what had happened was, uh, Alibaba.
Chinese companies.
Yeah, they're basically I don't know if attacking is the right word, but they were going after Anthropic to figure out how Anthropic does what Anthropic does. Basically trying to reverse engineer-ish kinda deal, but doing it at, like, ridiculous volumes, right? Like, 25,000 user accounts created and, like, 30,000,000, uh, requests and messages being sent to Anthropic in this net. So,
Hmm.
Anthropic says something to the government, the Senate, the White House, "Hey, look, Alibaba playing games." And so the government was like, "No, no, 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 no. You need to shut that down. Um, people can't have access to that if that's what they're gonna do." So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, it was,
It
they
was
were trying it
China.
was a yeah, yeah,
Yeah. You know,
yeah,
I didn't know that, but that makes sense.
yeah. And with it being the shutdown kinda thing that it was, it's kinda this, like, real first time, um,
You're
AI
back, by the way.
enforcement kinda thing happening, so it'll set precedents for future issues. So that's another reason why it's kind of a big deal. But
Yeah. So how do you? I'm sorry. I know we're over, but I am curious. How do you think this is going to affect future like updates and, you know, the upgrading of AI in the future? Because, you know, the way we are currently progressing and the trend, it's going to keep getting better, right? And so how do you think that's just going to progress with the limitations and boundaries set by the government? I mean, obviously we want boundaries, right? We don't want to just let loose and just let all the AI out. But, you know, like ChatGPT is going to, you know, release a new version. Like how, as a user, do you think this is going to affect us?
um, well, the biggest effect on users right now is our inability to spend all those extra tokens. I mean, have access to Fable and Mythos, uh, to be able to do those extra really cool things that they're supposed to be able to do.
Yeah, like hack
How
each
much
other's accounts.
yeah, how much of that access do we really need? I mean, what are we trying to do? There's a limited pool of people who need that level of assistance.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think some of it eventually is gonna get priced out of everyday user range. and that's what's going to be the gate that I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Because, like, right now, these companies are like releasing new versions every 2 weeks or, quite frequently. But so I think, well, we're going to see less frequent updates and then less extreme updates. Like the next, you know, uh, version, Claude's next, what's the next one? Right now with like 4.7 or something. Is that the latest one or
Uh,
4.8?
yeah, something
Since
like that.
Windows is no more. But, anyways, the 4.9, it's just going to be like unreally, uh, unimpressive. But honestly, like, we're already at that point where the AI is just so good already that we don't really need like any massive upgrades necessarily in like the memory. It doesn't need to get that much better. It's already like so darn good for most tasks. And like you said, what do we really need the most advanced brain in the world for? It can already do like PhD level, mathematics and all that stuff already. Like, what are you doing within your business that needs such a powerful brain, right?
Totally. I mean, my everyday is Sonnet. I'm not even using Opus. So, um,
Like most people can just do with like a VA from the Philippines
yeah.
that
So Haiku.
doesn't have a degree or anything. Like, why do you need such an advanced brain
Yeah.
powering your workflows? Anyways,
Well, and I don't know if you've experienced it, but I've seen it and heard people talk about it in the last couple weeks that I don't know if throttling is the right word, but things are costing more tokens. You're able to do less with the $20 account than you used to be able to do because they want to push people to get the max account. And another option that I don't I hope it doesn't happen, but it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know if you remember a year or so ago when ChatGPT was the reigning king and they did a big old update and it sucked and everybody hated it because it was less than it was like it could do less than and so much dumber than what the previous version had done. I mean, that's something that Anthropic or the next big AI company, their next update might dumb it down. We'll see. There's no telling.
yeah, because I mean, with every new model, like no one actually knows what's in it, right? Like the smart is all just based off of these, imaginary benchmarks that whatever random company is just putting out there. Like, oh, we tested it, we asked it this question, and it gave me this answer in 0.2 seconds versus 0.17 seconds. And so, like, everything is so arbitrary and like these small little differences that the normal person using it won't even really be able to tell anyway. And so even if they did dumb it down, I'm sure like most people won't even really notice the difference. Hmm.
Yeah.
We'll see. We will see.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for uh, bringing that up. The whole mythos, fable, anthropic conversation is always so interesting to talk about and to just get updates about. Freaking China. I can say that. Those are my roots. Those are my people. I love you guys. Great food. All right. Well,
Isn't that what gave you
that's
food poisoning a week ago?
it was a few weeks, but I was just thinking about that and like crying inside. Like, oh man, that was horrible. That was some of the worst. You're right. That
Yeah.
freaking Chinese food. Chinese
You
food in general is good. There was that one restaurant though. I'm never going back there again. Oh, that was so bad. Sent me to the
yeah.
hospital. That was, anyways, way to
You know
end
what
it on a
else
sad
is
note.
super bad? I don't know if you could see this. That's
I
Tiffany.
see.
That's you. You see?
What? I see.
It
Oh,
says
what's wrong
it's
with
I got a
that?
notification. So everybody else is following you and got the little bell on and all the things. They got the notification too. It says welcome to our live show. It doesn't say AI and things.
Oh, is that sad? Oh,
That's sad.
I thought you were gonna say
That's the whole
something.
point of naming the show is putting the
I'm just,
name on the show.
I'm just. When you said bad, I was expecting so much worse. If that's
Oh, that's not
that's the
horrible.
bad that you're referring to, like, I feel so relieved.
See,
All
and you
right.
totally forgot about the Chinese food.
Well, thank you. Now we're ending this on a good note. All right.
There we go. Keep it
Well,
positive.
hour and 20 minutes in. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
Next week, we're talking about our second brains, the memory. You're going to talk about Ridge and Ridge's memory. I'll talk about what I have set up. We're talking about Obsidian and all the fun stuff.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell thingy. She's going to change the name of the show and you're going to want to know about it. So there you go.
So good. So good. Oh my goodness. You fill in the gaps of things I forget. What a great uh, teamwork. What great teamwork. I love this.
Yes.
And Aaron, where can people find you if they want to work with you?
Next Friday, right here, live.
You're so good. All right. Peace out, y'all. I'll see you next week. We will see you next week. Bye.